and very warm afternoon here at the Wonky Carrot Homestead. It is a glorious day besides all of those, and there's a lot happening in the garden. If you joined me on the last Saturday morning, we had a whole lot of things to sort of give you an update on, and well, today we have just as many things to give you an update on, but also some projects around the garden that I really need to get cracking on and get finished. You might remember last time we had some blueberries. They've got to be seen to this time. There's a couple of other things that I'm going to show you as we do a bit of a walk around as well. So yeah, let's get cracking. The first thing that I will show you is just here. We've got a new little planter in our garden with a strawberry and 2 marigolds. And if you're familiar with our garden here, you'll know that we do get quite a lot of pests around the place. Or I shouldn't say pests, they are native animals, but they're possums, and they tend to be quite keen on eating anything that we put in the ground and nothing that grows naturally here. So anyway, that net over the top of that is to protect against the possums. We also have our nectarine trees are coming along well. They're all in their bags. The fruit, I don't know, oh, here's one here. Here's a nice fruit that's coming. Let's get that in shot, there we are. Some fruit that's coming along. So hopefully that will start to get a little bit bigger, and we shall start to hopefully see a bit more growth on those. I think the nectarines should ripen up around Christmas time, so it's a little bit early yet. But yeah, we do need a bit more water to get them going. We haven't had much rain. What we have had a lot of around here though is snake. So our eastern brown snake that likes to hang around in the garden at the back door has been back around this weekend, and you'll see as we're walking around that I keep looking at the ground or my feet while finding out where Dora Dog is, because we don't really know where it lives just yet. We don't know if it's going through our yard between two places or if it actually lives in our yard. But anyway, that's yet to be discovered. But it's more or less, if you can see behind me, in this garden, somewhere in here is generally where it likes to hang out. And of course it needs to be weeded, but who's going to put their hand up to do that while there's a snake potentially in there? So maybe a job for winter. We'll do something to fix up that garden in there. One of the other things I'll show you while I'm in this part of the garden is last week I spoke about some potatoes, some pink fir apple potatoes. Now I've put those in two locations. The first is down here in this pot, and I've put some in the garden as well. So I'll show you where those are over there. I'm putting them in two different spots just to test them and see how they perform in the pot and in the ground. They are really late in the season to be going in the ground, but that's just what happens. Sometimes you get some things to plant, and well, you put them in when you can. The other thing that I want to show you while we're here is this beautiful grapevine that's growing over our little pizza oven shelter here. That seems to be going really well. No signs of any fruit on that one just yet, but fingers crossed we will get there. Now again, I'm looking at the ground because our friend the snake has been around and I really don't want to have conversation with it. So this is sort of the backside of the grape. So far no signs of it being harassed by the whatever it was last year that ate all of the leaves. Now we'll go this way because there's something pretty special that I want to show you in the chicken coop. So last week chickens are moving. Last week we were expecting some little chicks. We had 7 eggs, I think, in the coop. And well, let me just show you what has happened in the meantime. So all of our crew are all out here pecking around, enjoying some afternoon munchies. All right, so you might already be able to hear. Honey is very, very pleased with herself. So I'll show you the camera like this. There's a little one over there. That was born yesterday, or hatched yesterday, and two little yellow ones and a sort of a grey coloured one. And Honey being the mum that's looking after all of those. Whether or not they're all Honey's chicks, we don't know. We'll probably never know. Possibly the one that's all dark might not be. But Honey's doing a really, really good job of looking after them and showing them around. I was quite surprised yesterday to actually see them out of the nesting box, because normally they take a little bit longer to be confident enough to go out and explore the world. But Honey's, I guess, encouraged them to get out and see the world around them, so that's exactly what they're doing. While we're down in the chicken coop sort of part of town, I will take you through to a little bit of a project that we have been working on here. How good's this? Look at that. It's a beautiful wheelbarrow full of colourful flowers ready for spring and summer. And we've turned this old side table over here into a little planter. And what have we got? We've got dahlia on the top here and a zinnia over this side. And some chamomile in the drawer here. What else? Over this side we've got another dahlia in the back. This is marigold, or the other one that looks very similar that I can never remember what it's called. Snapdragons, and then some pansies, I think. Whatever those ones are at the back there. So lots of colour, lots of exciting, vibrant growth here in our garden after the winter has finally passed. Now, some of you might be following the raspberry story around here. Unfortunately, I don't really have an update, or certainly not a positive update on the raspberry story. So this is our raspberry patch in here. And well, aside from the weeds, the raspberry canes aren't doing very much. They have died. Interestingly though, I went to our local nursery today and checked out their raspberries that they still have in stock. And the ones that they have in stock are the heritage variety, which is what we have here, and another variety, chill cotton, I think. And the chill cotton were all still alive and still had foliage all over them, whereas their heritage variety has done more or less what ours have done here and died and dried off. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll still wait and see what happens with those through next winter and into next summer, whether or not they decide that they want to get on with things or not. But I personally don't give them a whole lot of hope. But anyway, okay, let's go down to the greenhouse. Last time we were on, we had a bit of a chat around the greenhouse and the things that are growing in there. So this is always fun, this greenhouse. So the other day, we've got some really large abdomen spiders that live here. I'm not sure if they're venomous or anything like that, but they're quite large. Anyway, I was in here the other day and one just bolted out at me. It scared me because I'm not super fond of spiders. And anyway, it's in there, probably lives in there. And it can do that so long as we don't cross paths. I'm all right with that. Okay, what have we got in here this week? So, lots of things happening actually. Check it out. Heaps of stuff. We've got our tomatoes that are starting to come up in various places. Some are at the back. We've got some melons. We've got some cucumbers in the front here. We've got a lot of corn across the front. These are cabbages that I'm trying for winter. Don't quite know what that is. Some more cucumbers in the back here. This looks like it all needs a bit of a water. Some tomatoes. These are sunflowers. We have some beans across the back. Some tomatoes again. More pumpkins that are coming up. These over here are eggplants, these ones. Eggplants in here, some tomatoes again. Dahlias. Interestingly, we have two dahlias. So the ones on the right of this tray were seed saved from our local community garden, and the one on the left were commercial purchased seeds. And well, as you can see, the ones on the left are coming up and the ones on the right are not. So that's quite interesting. Across the front here, we've got some onions. These are 100-day onions apparently, and these are leeks. And then down the very bottom, we have some basil, more corn, and some lettuce coming on. So plenty of things in the greenhouse ready to go into the ground very, very soon. Oh dear, the flies are quite annoying today. Okay, so close that back up, and I'm sure you'll all remind me to give them a water later on. Now, one of the projects that I do need to do, hold on. Well, that's exciting. Our mulberry, which the previous owner of this property decided to give it a very, very poor looking haircut. Looks like it might be starting to put some fruit on, which is pretty cool. Okay, so one of the projects that I do need to get on and do is get these blueberries in the ground. So I've got these from our local nursery, Cool Climate Nursery, last weekend, yeah. So they definitely need to get into the ground, or I'm not actually putting them into the ground, I'm going to put them into some pots. Now, earlier today, I made up these little planters. They are corrugated steel made into little planters, so that's cool. They're hollow bottom because I don't want them to hold too much water, because blueberries don't like that. And underneath, I'm just placing a piece of cardboard, more or less as a weed barrier. So I have two of those because I have two plants that need to find themselves a home. Now, as per usual, we have to always be mindful of our dear friend the possum, so I will come up with a cage or something like that to go over the top of those to keep the possum away. Just excuse me here while I'm busy reducing the size of the tripod so I can show you. You can sort of work with me as I plant these in the ground. It's very difficult doing this one-handed, plus also with the wind. So we'll see how we go. Dora is sitting here enjoying the afternoon, but getting harassed by the flies. Okay. Well, I think that works. Let's do that. There you go. Now you can see. So, in here, there's going to be one each, and I'm going to get some soil. Okay, here's the soil that I'm going to use. It is an azalea and rose mix. Now, blueberries like slightly acidic soil, so that's why we're going with the rose and azalea mix, because that tends to be a slightly acidic potting mix. So what I'm going to do, it's fairly simple really. Planting a plant, we've all done that quite a few times. But I'll just cut this open. And eventually what's going to happen is I'm going to put mulch around these little planters, so I'm not too worried about that piece of cardboard poking out the end there. These are perfect blueberries for our climate because they like quite a lot of cold nights to set the fruit. So hopefully they go really well here once they're established. They haven't got, I've been finding this a lot lately, the roots on plants don't really seem really well developed. They sort of, half the pot doesn't have any root structure in it, which is weird. I've never seen that before, and only sort of in the last few weeks, all of a sudden, all the plants from the nursery have got very few roots in the bottom. There's a little branch there that keeps catching my hair. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So planting this just below, sorry, we want it just above the level of the pot because this soil will settle in. It's the flies, the wind, it's everything today. A bit more. Perfect, all right. So like I said, using this rose soil because it's slightly more acidic than the regular potting mix, potting soils and what have you. And blueberries like slightly acidic soil to grow in. Just a bit more. And this is a nice full sun position in the garden, so this will thrive in this little spot here. I'll just clip that dead piece off. There we go. Now, the key when you're planting anything is always make sure you water it in. So I've got some water here ready to go. What I might do is just twist this around because there's the join of the planter at the back there, so I like that facing the tree. Make sure this gets nice and wet. I want all of those air bubbles in the soil to come out. Give this plant a good chance of survival. Okay, so that's that one done. Got one more to do, so I'll take you over there. We'll move all of our bits and pieces over there as well. Alright. This is our second one just here. This is a slightly taller one, but the same thing. Just 3 pop rivets at the back to bind it together and a piece of cardboard on the ground to stop the weeds coming up through the bottom. Eventually that cardboard will rot away and that's totally fine because that's what we want. So I'm going to bring that soil over. And my other tools and my water, so I don't forget the water. Okay. Now, same again, I'm going to fill this up almost to the very, very top. And then plonk that plant in at the top. And as you can see, I found this garden. It's a never-ending job. Feels like while you're busy weeding, the weeds are growing behind you and popping up, and then you turn around and something else needs weeding. But it's okay. We're slowly getting on top of it all. Oh dear, it's very windy today, as you can see. And hopefully that doesn't disrupt the fruit on our trees too much. Actually, after this, I will take you down to have a look at the apples that are growing in our orchard. That's pretty exciting. We've had to net those as well because of the possums, but they seem to be coming along. So very similar. The root structure in this is quite underdeveloped as well. I don't quite know why. What I might actually do with these new plants that I'm putting in is maybe tomorrow or the day after, I will give them a liquid feed with seaweed solution, some fish emulsion, and also some worm wee, and that might help them to just develop a little bit better. Okay. And then again, in a couple of days' time, I'll probably come through and put some mulch on the top of these just to make sure they don't dry out too much. So that's that done. Our number one rule is water it in, water it in, water it in, water it in. And plenty of water to get those air pockets out. Well, fingers crossed that these blueberries like these two little positions in the garden, and sometime in the not too distant future we start to actually see some blueberries that we can harvest. Right, so one thing I want to show you, as I said, was down in the orchard. Actually, before we go down into the orchard, let me just quickly give you an update on the, what are they, the hazelnuts. The hazelnut, we've been having endless conversations about hazelnuts, it feels. So if you've been here before, you probably know that we have 3 hazelnut trees now. The property originally had 2 when we first bought it. The previous owner had planted those. They are much larger. There's this one just here behind me, and then this one just here. So quite large hazelnut trees. And after some discussions and some research and some advice from some friends, we ended up with a 3rd hazelnut. Now the reason for that is the 3rd hazelnut apparently pollinates the other 2, and in turn they pollinate each other. And so, well, that means hopefully we will start to see some hazelnuts. However, the plants have changed once again, and I'm not really sure what it is that I'm supposed to be looking out for with hazelnuts forming on these trees. They've got some interesting structures that look like maybe they are hazelnuts starting to form. And then I look at them again and I don't really know if they're hazelnuts forming or just new leaves. So who knows? Also, my allergies are playing up here today, which is slightly disappointing because it means that talking to you is a bit challenging. Come on, Dora. But we do what we do. All right, so we're back down in the orchard and I'm going to show you the apples that are starting to get a bit bigger on our trees. This is quite exciting because we've not had apples before. Last year all the apples got eaten by the birds. So we've got these nets on again, but I don't know if you can see through the net. The apples are starting to form. So I've managed to get the nets on just in time. There's one, two, three on this branch. And there's a bunch of other branches where we've got these nets on as well. And the fruits are starting to form. So that's pretty exciting. You can see in here, there's some more apples forming. Where else? This one has a net on it, but I'm not sure if the fruit has failed. I can't see any fruit in that one. We do also have a couple of spots like just up above here where the net isn't on. You can probably just see that up in there. The net isn't on, but the fruit is still there, which I don't want to say too loudly in case any critters hear that. What else have we got? have another apple tree just next door. Less apples on it. And it's also not allowing the nets to stay on super easily. So we're having a bit of trouble keeping the fruit protected on that one. What else we have? Oh, these are plum trees. So little plums growing as well. Another little plum. Yeah, this one I think might have lost all of its apples, which is a bit disappointing. Oh, what can you do? That's part of life. Okay, we're at the very bottom of the orchard now. So right down here, if you can see, that up there is a pear tree, that big tall one. So we had to do some work this year to